Kia ora and welcome to the Creative Matters podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with New Zealand artists. I'm your host, Mandy Yarkich. These conversations are intimate, uplifting and insightful. The guests on this show have absolutely enriched my life, and I'm sure their stories will have the same effect on you. Thank you so much for joining me to listen to these amazing people speak about what drives them, the way they work, and their personal takes on life. Hi, and welcome back to Creative Matters. Bonco, also known as Paul Nathan, is a visual artist living in Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland.
I found a letter that my father had written to his parents 7 months before I was born of joke names. One of them was Bonco. So Bonco was a Japanese bathroom accessory manufacturer, which has a lovely kind of Duchampian ring to it.
Totally.
And I love Duchamp.
He predominantly paints with oil on linen and sometimes makes sculpture and textiles. Bonco explores the language of geometric abstraction, signs and symbols, and is interested in discovering the spiritual through an investigation of the modernist grid and its variations. In this episode, we discuss the varied career Bonco had in the UK and America before studying at Elam School of Fine Arts in Auckland and committing to a painting practice in 2017. We also talk about the metaphors he uses in his work, how he feels his work doesn't really belong in Aotearoa, and his overarching determination to do some good in the world. Good morning, Paul.
Hi, Mandy.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Thank you very much for coming out to Muriwai.
Thanks for having me.
It's a lovely blustery day, so snuggled up in the studio. It's really nice to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, and I think we met a few weeks ago, didn't we, with Toi Poto?
That's right. Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to hearing all about your stories. So, Paul, can you tell us where you were born and what kind of child you were?
So I was born in Auckland. I went through private school. I was not terribly academic or terribly sporty. I went to university in Christchurch, did art history, and I guess for the first time I met people that didn't need to be the biggest and the best, which was quite an eye-opener. I didn't really know that world existed, and had a great time.
Were you making any work at that point?
No.
At all?
No.
And you didn't see yourself as somebody who would be making art?
No. It never felt like an option. Well, I always liked making things, but not in any kind of serious way, or I never remotely considered the option of being an artist it never seemed like an option at all. And then after university, I backpacked around Europe for 6 months or so, and then studied at Sotheby's for a year about antiques and art. I guess I was kind of interested in the commercial side of things, but after working there in British furniture for a bit, I realized that I wasn't an academic. I didn't want to be a world specialist. And so I went to France actually for 6 months, and then I studied gemology in America for a year.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
What made you do that?
Well, I was looking for something, a profession that was kind of portable, that could fit in my pocket, and hopefully I'd meet girls. And, I always liked stones and rocks. Even from as a child, I would collect rocks. So that was always an interest. And I just felt like it was a profession where I could learn everything there was to learn within within a year. And then I would have an occupation that I could have to make a living from.
And you were actually going to be making jewelry yourself?
No.
Or just managing a business?
Yeah, just buying and selling.
Right.
I came from a family of kind of traders, I guess. So buying and selling was something that I was in the kind of blood. And so I opened a few shops for Walker and Hall, which was great. I think I worked for them for about 3 years in total. During that period, I resigned 3 times. It just kind of became evident that I wasn't a good employee. Well, I just struggled working for other people. There was just something about giving my time and my life to someone else, which didn't really sit well with me.
And wasn't always necessarily in line with your own values and beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself quite an easygoing person, but maybe I'm not. I mean, I don't think I caused any kind of friction, but I just kind of resented asking for holidays or for various things, and it wasn't something that I wanted as part of my life. So after the last time that I resigned, I met someone who helped me go to Russia and to try and start up a jadeite mine in Kazakhstan. And that was a real adventure.
Wow.
Totally different from anything I'd experienced before.
Yeah.
And quite exciting. Quite dangerous too. And then after that, I met a man there who asked me to open a shop in Melbourne, which I did for a year. And again, after a year, it was just that feeling of claustrophobia, just a terrible sense of foreboding working for someone else. And I knew that there was no option but to start up my own thing. So I opened my own shop, had it for 5 years.
And that was selling stones and
yeah,
gems.
I was selling jewellery, modern European and antique jewellery. So that was fun. I mean, I travelled around. I'd go to Europe and go to the fairs and buy stuff. But I really just enjoyed the stones and the jewellery rather than the people or having customers, which I really struggled with. And so I sold that and then thought, what do I want to do with my life? I was 35 at the time. And I knew that I wanted to spend some time in New York and in Japan, both of which places I'd been to before. So I enrolled in summer school in New York for 2 months and had the time of my life.
Wow.
Just fell in love with the city.
Yeah.
And
what was the summer school like?
Well, I'd enrolled in product design and interior design, I think. And I wasn't really thrilled with the course, but the photography students seemed to be out looking at the city, taking photos. So I changed the interior design to photography, which was a great move. And it was just a great way to see the city, to have a camera. I didn't have a proper camera. I just borrowed their camera. And then thought, well, I need an excuse to come back to New York. so I enrolled in film school, just thinking, well, I could make documentaries with other people, because I'd always, with my shop and previous to that, I'd kind of just done things myself, and I just had this idea that I could be in a creative environment with other people doing interesting things. So did that, dropped out, hated it.
Really?
I hated working with other people, spending my time on their stupid films. And so after, by dropping out, I broke my visa, and then I got letters saying I had 2 weeks to leave America. And I wasn't ready to leave. So I rushed around to try and find a photography school, just thinking, well, at least photos, you're not in a team necessarily. And then found a photography school, International Centre of Photography on 43rd and 6th. And they said, this was in June, and they said, yeah, enrollments had closed in March, but if I got a portfolio to them quickly, they could look at it, and there was a couple of spaces left. So I didn't know what a portfolio was. So I took in my happy snaps, and they said no. And then luckily that night I met a New Zealand photographer, who said, meet me the next day and bring what you've got. And he said, yeah, you idiots. And we put together a portfolio, and then got into the course. I only had one of those slim kind of pocket cameras before phone cameras were a thing. And I got a scholarship after the first term.
Wow.
And yeah. And then
that allowed you the visa to be reinstated.
Yeah.
Once you enrolled.
Yeah. So with that particular visa, if you studied for a year, you could work for a year.
Mm.
And then, everything just happened. So I had a whole life in America as a photographer.
Wow.
Which was really, really fun. I worked for the New York Post initially, doing brunches and portraits. And then I took a photo of a friend for her dating site. And that afternoon, she was in the lift of her apartment in New York and spoke to someone else that got into the lift, who had a fashion company who was looking for a photographer, and she gave her my name. And that started my life as a fashion photographer.
My goodness, what a journey.
Yeah. And so just shortly after that, I was flying around America doing fashion ads, and then I got a whole lot of work with the beauty brands, Aveda, L'Oreal Professional, The Body Shop, a whole lot of them, doing PR and backstage fashion week. And I would travel around with celebrity makeup artists doing photo sort of stuff. And yeah, it was wonderful.
And it's just like everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah. And during that time, I met my wife and started making books of my own kind of photos of. So the first book was on tattoos, young people in our neighborhood that had tattoos, and then a couple of books on dogs. And those books all went viral and were picked up by, featured on Good Morning America, Wall Street Journal, all sorts of things, all around the world.
That's incredible.
Yeah. In fact, I'm still interviewed about those books 10 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you think it was about this work that you were doing that was so popular?
Well, they were it was just the timing. It was just, I was interested in subgroups. And what's really special about New York is that you can have an idea in the morning and you can be doing it that afternoon. Anything under the sun, which is really, really wonderful.
Yeah. And you've got you're in that place where you can get your finger on the pulse.
Yeah. And people are just up for creativity. So for the tattoo book, I would just approach cool looking people on the street and bring them back to the apartment, take their photo, just say take off as much as you feel comfortable with. And some people would take off everything. Other people would just keep their underwear on. But it's just the sense of being on board. I don't think you could do that in New Zealand necessarily.
No, and just the type of people too. I mean, I think New Zealanders would be instantly suspicious.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. But also you must have that sort of way about you where people do trust you, which I think you are that kind of person.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm probably non-threatening. And, you say what you're doing, and there's no kind of subversive kind of, there's no hidden agenda. And people can accept it or not. And, but, Americans are very friendly people. And, if they see that someone's got a creative project, then they're usually very happy to be on board. And, I think I made quite a big impact on some other people, especially with the dog community, the people that dress up their dogs. Some people named their dogs after me and changed the names to my name.
Really?
And
how did you find the dog people? Just you spotted the dogs on the street?
Yeah. Well, I really love the dog people. They're a really fun-loving community. And it was a bit strange because I became part of their community, and other people would turn up to the functions. Other photographers would come along to the dog parades and whatever, but they would always say, "Oh, Paul, you're one of them."
Amazing. Yeah. And there is something about dog owners, I think. Dog owners are special. People who love dogs are special people.
Yeah. And in New York, a lot of people don't have children, but they have dogs. And, they want the best of their dog. They dress up their dog. It's their child. Their fur baby, as they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's not something you see here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so, had 2 small children, and I just decided it was better to come back to New Zealand. It felt like the tree was sitting in the pot, and I just wanted to plant it in the ground. And and then coming back, I thought, well, what do I really want to do with life? And Nadine, my wife, suggested, well, why don't you go to art school? Because I still didn't really see myself as an artist at all, but it was something that, through the books, I just got so much joy and satisfaction from. So I enrolled in the master's program. I didn't have a bachelor's in fine art, but because the books were the books went all sorts of great places like the Tate Modern and MoMA and, all sorts of places around the world. Colette in Paris before it closed, and Barney's in New York before it closed. Really kind of prestigious places.
Congratulations.
And then, so I enrolled in the master's thinking I was going to do photography. Within 2 weeks of doing that, I just thought, no, I'm going to start painting. I didn't have any experience in painting or any technical know-how, but it just felt right.
What made you think that, do you think?
Nothing here really interests me photographically, and also the page already has something on it, and I didn't want to be external. I wanted to be internal, and I'm not interested in New Zealand landscape or actually anything. Here it's familiar. It's too familiar. And I just wanted a blank canvas that I could try and find myself. And yeah, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful discovery. I'd always collected art and been an art lover, but to actually make art is a pleasure which I never knew existed. With photography, you're always thinking about the idea. You're doing it for a minute or a day or whatever it might be, and then you're editing. Whereas with painting, it's a meditative process, as you know, and you're just present, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's such a special process. And then you finish the process with a beautiful work. You know, the final product is like the final touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so through that study, how did you go? You know, how did you feel about first starting to paint?
Well, I wanted to find myself. I know that sounds like a real cliche, but I just think that to find yourself is not only benefiting yourself, but benefiting the world in a way. If you can make yourself a better person, that you're benefiting others and those around you. So it gives me great satisfaction to know that my very first paintings that I did were all done with making straight edges with a round headed brush. I didn't even know which brushes to use. But, it was oil. I'm kind of a traditional kind of person. And they don't look too dissimilar from what I'm doing right now.
And even just the first paintings that you did.
So I did 12 of them. They took me about 30 hours each. And it was just that real kind of obsessive, flat work. So similar to what I do now. No, nothing's really changed.
It's interesting how you came up with that. I mean, that it was very geometric at that time, and it has been ever since. So what was that? Why were you drawn to the geometric, and how was that helping you get to know yourself, or how was it helping your well-being?
I guess it's a very, very good question, and I guess it's a question that is always at the back of my mind. What is it about it? It's just that I wouldn't know what else to do. And I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest. If I was just to flick painted a canvas, or just to do some gestural work, I actually wouldn't know what that means. I wouldn't know why I'm doing it. And I need to know why. I need to, there's a sense of control. Actually, when I was doing my photography course, one of the professors pointed out that, to take a portrait on a white backdrop is really controlling. And actually that's what most of my fashion work was. It was lookbooks. It was models against white, or, occasionally black, but just with controlled lighting, controlled poses. There's something about that control, about that restriction, that just opens up all sorts of possibilities to me. I just need tight control. So I limit myself to lines and flat color. Not to say that I won't change in the future, but it gives me a lot of security.
It's very interesting. And then the connection to the grid also goes all the way through your work, doesn't it? Did that start at the beginning as well?
Yeah. So I started off with what are these 6-sided shapes? What's that called?
The what, sorry?
What's a 6-sided shape called?
Hexagon?
Is it a hexagon? Oh, it's a hexagon. Yeah. So it started off with hexagons, and now I'm down to kind of squares and triangles. I've discovered metaphor and symbolism in pretty much everything I do. Not necessarily at the time, but maybe at a later stage. It's I have a kind of very close relationship with the subconscious or the unconscious and the conscious, and trying to do, and then often I discover stuff later. So I don't know. I could talk for a long time about it.
Keep talking.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
For the hexagon, I realized that I think bees make things in hexagons, and it's a shape that has the greatest surface area once you stack things together. It's also, I'm Jewish, so you can put two triangles in to form a hexagon, the Star of David. If you were to draw lines between the corners, you would end up with a hexagon.
Yeah.
It just seems like a magical shape, and it was a shape that I was just attracted to. Without having a technical skill base, I'm just limited. I can't actually draw, but I don't feel like I need to. I took a portrait class at Matthew Brown, who we've mentioned, who is a lovely guy, and I wanted to do the course. I did it when I was doing my master's. Just thinking, this is, I feel like a total imposter. This is ridiculous. How can I be doing a painting at master's level without any kind of knowledge of what I'm doing or the ability? So I enrolled. It was quite expensive to do the portrait oil course, but I thought, well, I need to. I'm a fraud. Within the first 2 minutes, I realized I absolutely should not be here. There were all these people making these most beautiful portraits of the model, with all sorts of technical things, and I felt like it was there was almost a I totally got it. I'm not taking anything away from anyone that did that course or anyone that does any course, but that just was not me. I wasn't supposed to be in a class trying to do stuff with other people, where it could be you could judge who had done the best thing. I didn't belong there. That's not what I aspired to do, to be.
And with that kind of thing, with all working with the same model, then there is that sort of, it's quite easy to end up comparing.
Oh, absolutely. It's a natural comparison.
Yeah.
And
which is quite threatening.
Yeah. Well, not only threatening, but it wasn't a value. I just felt my painting was just too personal, and what I was doing was too important. As far as unlocking myself. I think I mentioned earlier just about my own personal, I wanted to find myself. So there was no reason for me to be there. And I'm so pleased that I did enroll in that and had gone through that. I didn't go back after that because I didn't need to.
You just did that one session.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then did you ever get any support with the actual technical side of painting in your masters? Because everyone had already kind of done that in their first years, I guess. They'd done art at high school. Yeah.
Or they'd done a bachelor's in fine art, and I hadn't done that. The only thing I did do, I guess, was do my master's part-time. So instead of 2 years, I did 4 years, which I'm really happy to have done. Although I would have loved to have done a bachelor's too, in hindsight, where they get to try all the different bits and pieces.
Yeah, I love the sound of that.
Yeah, metal and wood and clay, and and just have that space
and have the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what made you actually want to study? Why didn't you just go into a studio and start painting?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm kind of traditional, and I wanted to have. I wanted to meet some people and have some support, and also, if I was going to spend my time doing that, I wanted to do it seriously, and I just felt like I needed to have that qualification. Yeah.
And that was in 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah.
20 years after your initial Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So what happened through that year and beyond with your painting?
With my painting, yeah, it's just the focus has not been on technical stuff. It's been about finding meaning, and everything I do is focused on trying to find myself, trying to look at a painting and see myself in my true form, and to through that to help others and make the world a better place. It sounds really kind of arrogant, I guess.
Not at all. That sounds great. It's a good thing to aspire to. Yeah.
With the knowledge that a lot of this is in my own head, I'm not kind of delusional. I go into it with kind of open eyes and openness, but that is ultimately my goal, that subconsciously people will be helped through interaction with my painting.
And your painting, for somebody who hasn't seen your paintings before, even though we'll have your paintings on the blog post so people can see what you're talking about. But, we've talked about the geometric form and the use of the modernist grid and signs and symbols. And you started off, as you said, with the hexagon. Can you kind of paint a picture, so to speak, of your paintings and how you sort of work within the grid and how you incorporate the shapes?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'll, in a practical sense, I'll pencil something up and then I'll paint lines without tape, just using my hand. And everything is metaphorical, some of which I am aware of and some of which I'm always discovering. And it's often a comment on society that, again, I'm talking about myself. Everyone has their own experience in the world, but that's, there's this allusion to perfection, or to be competent, or to be in control. When you look closely at my paintings, you need to spend time with them. You'll see that the lines are really wobbly, and it's a gesture towards a line, knowing that it's never going to be a straight line. From a distance, it looks like a line. From a distance, I look on top of things. I have a very together life from the outside, but to take time and to look closely, the lines are really quite wobbly.
And you see the imperfections.
And there's lots of imperfections.
So do you actually draw up a grid to start with?
Yeah, I use a ruler and a pencil, and then I just paint in the squares. As a child, you did paint by numbers. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Yeah, they do it. It's sort of made a comeback, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a guy I saw a film about, actually, who, in America, I can't remember his name, who had collected all the paint by numbers paintings from years before and had them all through his house and had like an exhibition. It was amazing. Yeah, so it's almost kind of, had a comeback.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. And actually you can buy kits now, sort of modern day paint by number kits.
Okay, right. Yeah. Actually, I remember that there was those adult books. It wasn't a paint by number though, was it? It's just like a lines and then
colouring.
Colouring.
Yeah.
Colouring in.
Yeah. That became popular too.
I don't know if that's still going.
No, I think it is actually, yeah. So, I mean, it is that sort of meditative kind of process of colouring in spaces. There is something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's coming from a place of feeling like our lives have meaning and that we're on this planet for a purpose, even though a lot of what I speak to is our insignificance. And so I draw on a couple of biblical stories, a lot of my work. When I say biblical stories, I'm kind of, I use that, I hope that people can also find a bit of humor in that. There's like this oracleness, I mean, I'm not, I can't preach, but I'm I'm aware that people can just switch off, or that actually as soon as I do start talking about what I believe, that I can see people go blank in the eyes, and fair enough. So I probably would too.
And you are a religious person?
No,
you're not
at all.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, not at all.
So you're making references to the Bible, but you're not religious.
I'm Jewish, but I'm not a practicing Jew. I'm not religious at all. But I feel like it's my library. It's anyone's library.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, Barnett Newman, he said that all his work was referencing Shabbat, even though he wasn't a religious person. And I think Rothko too. He was Jewish. His work is kind of spiritual, but he wasn't religious. I'm the same sort of character.
And it is, I mean, you're a very spiritual person. Would you say that?
Sort of. I mean, I do. Yeah, I guess. So, in my work, I'm very interested in transcendence, how we can change, how we can be better selves. It's something I do aspire to. And maybe that's what we mean when I talk about being spiritual, is wanting to be a better self.
Yeah.
Not in a religious or circumscribed way, but just something beyond that. So there's a couple of stories which kind of rang true for me. I do a class occasionally with a rabbi in New York on Wednesday afternoons. He's a very clever guy, and he talked about the story of God asking Abraham to do a whole lot of stuff. Abraham being an old man, saying, "Oh God, you're asking me to do all these things, but all I really want is children, someone to leave all my stuff to." And God said, "Go outside and count the stars. However many stars you can count will be your descendants." And as the rabbi pointed out, it's this impossible request, illogical, but a task that you can aspire to, understanding that it's an impossible task, but still you can attempt to undertake it, even though you wouldn't practically undertake it, which is really, I love. It's about, not only is it in that, but it's about connecting to the universe. I mean, humans have been around for less than 200,000 years. It's a blink of time. We worry about someone said something to someone else, or someone did this to me and I can't sleep at night. Am I worried about a galaxy being taken out by another galaxy? No. Am I worried about, I mean, do I have anything to be worried about?
It's also trivial sometimes, isn't it? The way humans think sometimes.
Yeah.
When we're such tiny specks on the planet and in the universe.
Yeah.
And we get so consumed with what in the big scheme of things is actually something very tiny.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only is it tiny, but we're disconnecting ourselves from nature and from us being connected to every other person, to every other planet, to every other solar system. We're losing connection to ourselves. We're losing connection to nature.
To the planet.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's part of my rant. But, society is creating anxiety in us. It's, we're trying to have all this stuff. I'm as guilty as the next person, probably guiltier. But it's stuff we don't need. We need to just come together. There's a lot of division, I feel, these days with race, gender, socioeconomically, social media. These things are all coming from a place of intended goodwill, I believe. But I don't believe it's the answer. I think we need to put all that aside and connect as human beings,
as real people.
Yeah, and connect to nature rather than to divide. I just think it's a short-term goal. It's not a sustainable long-term thing.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of changes in society just in the last 10 years.
Yeah, in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Last 1 year.
It's quite scary, isn't it? Yeah, and just the things that children are exposed to and have to get their heads around, and teenagers, and I don't know, it just seems a very complicated, complex world.
Yeah.
It was much simpler in my day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if...
It's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it actually was. It does seem like it was. That's, 50 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we value those that have lots of likes, or those that have lots of stuff, success and all that sort of thing, but we don't value the academics, the good people, the giving people. Viktor Frankl's book, it's all about the meaning of life. If you want a meaningful life, it's about helping others find meaning. I mean, gosh, just imagine if that was our goal. How wonderful the world would look. And that's not about a division of, race, gender, or of stuff. That's about goodness and a sense of giving.
Yeah, we need to bring that back, or bring that to the forefront of what we do. Yeah. So just thinking about that idea of stars and the universe, you had a series which was really based around that whole idea,
Yeah.
which you explored,
Yeah.
for some time.
Yeah.
So just looking at this one, Outside with Libra,
Yeah.
that has quite a formal grid there with triangles. And I love the way you use that. So you're on the linen,
Yeah.
but you're actually leaving space that is the linen, or have you got a colour that is like the linen?
Yeah. So I use 8 colors and 4 neutrals. So 8, I mean, not just that particular painting, but in general. So I mean, of the last couple of years. So 8 on its side is the sign for infinity, and 4 is the number of elements. Everything has meaning. It's deeply embedded, some of which I'm aware of and some of which I'm discovering.
And what are the 8 colours?
So I use like a lime green, a turquoise, kind of the poppy colours, and then a dark blue, 2 coloured reds. So black and white, and then there's 2 kind of greyish kind of colours. And then, there's some other colours there too. And then I incorporate a window. There's a wonderful, one of the great things from my master's was discovering certain texts. One of them was by Rosalind Krauss, I think in 1969 she wrote it, or 1970. It's entitled Grids. It's only about 12 pages, but for me it was a breakthrough text where she says that, she explains that the modernist grid, the grid of Mondrian and Malevich, were appeared to be scientific, kind of modern, quiet, cool, the grid, but which hid the simplest window. And so I've incorporated a window, an element, in reference to that text, just to bring in the idea of the inside, the outside, and to pay tribute to Rosalind Krauss in a way. That the, Mondrian and Malevich were both into theosophy, which was this idea of the hidden world. That the more that you studied nature, the more secrets were revealed. These kind of ideas were also used throughout history. I mean, from the German Romanticists to Kabbalah, the origins of the kindergarten, and are all kind of part of that. That the more you can study about nature, these secrets will be revealed. I guess in The Matrix, the movie, kind of is talking all about that stuff. Yeah.
And the work the grid with that count Outside with Libra.
Yeah.
Just back to that painting.
Yeah,
again.
sorry.
It's nice to have your comments on all the stages through your work.
Yeah.
But just from the visual point of view.
Yeah.
The triangle, you're dividing the grid up with the triangle, so it's kind of in squares and then divided up into triangles, isn't it, with the black? And it's really interesting. I mean, your work, the more you look at it, the more you discover. It initially seems like a reasonably simple gridded idea, and then the more you look into it, there's actually quite a lot of complex elements. How do you figure out which colours are going to go where? Do you actually have a sense of the overall feel of it, or do you draw it up initially? How does that sort of develop?
I don't. All I have is my initial penciled thing, and then that is set in stone. As far as the colors go, I have an idea of what colors I'd like to use, but sometimes they change, and sometimes I paint over things. As far as the design, that can change too, but there's usually quite a lot of logic involved, fragile line between the conscious and the subconscious, I guess, which is what I play with. My brother was a physicist. He lives in Oxford. He's a really top physicist, and did stuff with radiation. He's got a postdoc in physics from Oxford. I was terrible at maths, but I guess and now he makes coffee tables, which look a lot like my paintings.
Interesting.
So there's something comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got that sort of maths undertone.
Yeah.
And then you and your brother have both kind of discovered your creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of it I can't explain.
It's very beautiful. They're amazing. I love anything geometric. And then you've actually taken that series that was made on linen, and you've also done an installation, public installations, with that idea of counting the stars.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. They are on the blog post as well. So you've done actually quite a few different installations in different places in Auckland. Can you tell us about how that happened? And you're also introducing light.
So they were actually throughout New Zealand. Yeah, I was very lucky. I mean, I've been very blessed in my short career as an artist. Well, as a painter, I've had amazing generosity from some people. Am I allowed to do a quick shout out?
Please.
So I guess initially after I graduated, to Jonathan and Jessica from North Arts, gave me a really big show, which was just wonderful. And then Amy from Aotearoa, who gave me the opportunity to do the billboards, which were actually throughout New Zealand. And then David from Swedes, a solo show in Ponsonby. And then more recently with Scott Laurie, who I've listened to your podcast, which was really great. Such a lovely and generous man.
Yes, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And also Jessica Eggleston.
Yeah, and Jessica, absolutely.
At Artful.
At Artful, which has been a lovely, lovely opportunity. And she's such a capable and powerhouse.
Yeah, she is a tiny, tiny powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, tiny person.
And I really feel like she's taking art in a really exciting and innovative way.
Yeah, and just having that sort of online gallery concept, which is really brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's so involved in helping get shows set up for you and group
absolutely.
shows. It's brilliant.
Totally.
She's a really good model, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, she's really something.
But you've done so well.
Yeah, it's only been 3 years since I finished art school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And just a bit like your photography and the other things that you've done, you've just kind of gone to quite a high level quite quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
So the billboards came around through Amy. And I just felt like counting the stars, it was such a logical thing for me to put the paintings up in the sky. Yeah, I mean, there's something about geometric work which, it just,
draws you in. Well, I mean, those installations, they're different sizes. One of them's curved. They're all massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Some are smaller than others, but they're all generally really big. They're lit up and they're just kind of in urban environments, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that sort of striking, gridded, triangular, black, predominantly black and white from a distance with some colour, smaller colour pops. It's just such an effective, beautiful contrast in a city environment.
Yeah.
And so how did you get approached, or what was the project?
So Amy asked me if I'd like to do it, and of course I said yes.
Yeah. And did they have an idea within Aotearoa of creating multiple installations from the same artist, or how did that actually
so develop? It was me and another artist. So over that Christmas period, it's a low user rate for advertisers, and she has a relationship with the billboard company. And so, it's a non-threatening opportunity for art to be in a commercial space where, I guess, I mean, in order to get my photos, I would only get, some of the paintings were only up for like 15 seconds or whatever, and then I'd have to wait for like 45 minutes.
Oh, really? So is it between advertising? It pops up?
Yeah.
Oh.
So at the key spots, in order to get a good photo, you have to be at sunrise or sunset,
right.
to get the lighting, just to get that nice balance between the surroundings and the billboard. So, I spent quite a lot of time down on, trying to get the
right
things,
moment.
Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
Yeah. But they're very striking, and it's interesting, isn't it, putting it together with all the advertising?
Yeah.
And, it's another way for people to engage with art in a sort of unexpected way.
Yeah. Well, she's doing some great things. She did a camper van around New Zealand recently, and she's an amazing person too. Yeah. Is
it all about that idea of bringing art to
to a commercial into a commercial space? Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And then you've also done the step work for the Sidewalk Gallery in Studio 122. So was that done in lockdown so that people could enjoy it from the footpath?
Yeah, so that was one of those COVID kind of cancelled show, but it all worked out for the best, as things often do.
Yeah.
So I initially had an idea to do paintings which reflected the building and the church next door, which kind of made sense to me. And so I had canvases prepared, and then once I had discovered this new biblical story, which was the story of Jacob's ladder, which is also about transcendence and where to find enlightenment, I guess. So in that particular story, Jacob's fleeing from his brother, and he stops by the side of the road, has a dream. He dreams that there's a ladder resting on earth, going up to heaven, and there's angels going up and then down. And after the dream, he says to the effect of heaven is on earth. Through researching that story and various kind of different interpretations, if there's a ladder, it's, they're going up and then down. So it's really a reflection of prayer, is the interpretation which I kind of resonated personally, that you step up, you stand in the presence of God, and then you descend. It's this 3-part approach. And so, a triangle is a 3-part thing. When I say stand in the presence of God, these are analogies. I'm not as I said, I'm not a religious person. It's a reference. It's a
metaphor.
It's a metaphor. It's all metaphor. Sorry, my stomach keeps rumbling.
Are you hungry?
I'm not. I had a breakfast, but I don't know if that's going to come through in the microphone.
No, it won't.
All right.
That's a nice addition if it does.
It's discovering the metaphors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Totally. And that work is very colourful and sort of quite different.
Sorry. Back to that work.
Yeah.
That's like a step. It's like an impossible step.
Yeah. Totally.
And
I love the way you've got it's just a different tint, really, isn't it, of the line.
Yeah.
Going in a slightly different direction to give that feeling of the step.
Yeah.
But it's not like a regular step.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
And that painting is actually on Victoria Street in the city at the moment on one of those billboards for the construction.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So good. It's nice to be able to repurpose.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And then I guess that takes us nicely into the ladder series, which you had a show at the Scott Laurie Gallery, a solo show. So can you tell us about that? I mean, you're obviously still using all of your trademark features of geometric abstraction and the grid.
Yeah.
And then the ladder is the big sign, I guess. So those ones more sort of more square, using squares more, but also still triangles, isn't it? So can you tell us about that series?
Yeah, so I still see it's got the window, my Rosalind Krauss reference.
Yeah.
The squares have become my stars, and then I've incorporated text, hidden text, in the triangles. So they, do you know about Esperanto?
No.
Okay. So Esperanto was a language which was going to it was invented as the language for the world. It was a language of hope and of unity. So I've used in a hidden text, you can only see it if you look quite carefully, because the shades of grey and tan, the similar colours as the linen, kind of disguise it. So there's words that like vedu, which is light, and other words which reference a stepping out, some sort of enlightenment, I guess. I incorporated it. So I've just thrown everything but the kitchen sink into those paintings.
And can you actually see the words?
Yeah.
You
can.
You look closely,
yeah, you can. You'd have to kind of consciously start looking for them. But they're, the words are in there. Which I used to do several years ago, hidden words. So I've put them in there. I've just, it's like a symbolist, I don't know,
it's adding to the
bowl
idea
of a whole lot of stuff, just thrown in, seeing what's going to come about. Not really knowing what's going to come about, but yeah.
And you've got the ladder, an actual ladder, like a part of a ladder.
Yeah, because I guess as a geometric artist, what representational feature can you throw in that makes sense?
Yeah.
And a ladder is a geometric object.
Yeah.
And so it's a very crude, childlike ladder, I guess, in a way, but it was just something that I wanted to play with and see what would happen. The ladder against the window. I don't know. Just seeing what would happen. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, it just
is the window going to break? I don't know.
Yeah.
The ladders are kind of floating in space, and is the stars the ground? Is, I don't know. Does anyone care? I don't know. But for me, it was kind of a pleasurable paintings to make.
They're beautiful, and they've all got the windows, and they've all got the ladders, so they're really kind of interconnected in that way. And then you've been quite bold with your colour. And you're using more colours, aren't you, across the board with that series?
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with my colours, and I don't think I'd ever go past the colours that I use now. I had to get to this point. It's all been quite a speedy journey, but I'm pretty happy with the way things are going.
Yeah. Oh, you should be.
Yeah.
And you are represented by Scott Laurie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got a show with Scott later in the year, and ultimately I'd like to be overseas. Yeah, I don't think my work necessarily fits within the New Zealand context at the moment. It feels the call-outs are quite specific to New Zealand-related subjects and context.
Really?
Fitting in, and I just, it's not, I don't feel like I belong. I don't know. I mean, I would love to be in Switzerland or Europe somewhere, or America. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm part of the New Zealand conversation.
Don't you?
No.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not talking about New Zealand.
And you think everyone needs to be talking about New Zealand?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
I would have thought there would be a place for abstraction that's not necessarily relating to New Zealand. You haven't found that.
I don't find that.
And then can you see yourself, connecting with galleries overseas, or what do you see for your future?
Yeah. Well, I love New Zealand. I love being here. I love living here.
We love you being here.
Thanks so much. But yeah, I would like to have a life outside of New Zealand for my work. People that are open to the bigger picture. Yeah.
And I'm sure you will make that happen.
Well, I will try.
Yeah.
But I really, it would be comforting to know that I would live here and have somewhere for my work to go here.
Yeah.
And that would be the ideal, as well as having something overseas. Yeah.
Do you see yourself back in New York?
Yeah, at some point. Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a magical place, and I mean, it's very hard to make it happen, but it's possible. I think I did pretty well as a photographer.
Exactly, you made it happen before.
Yeah, even though I think there was like 80,000 photographers in New York, and
I can see you doing that. And just thinking about the t-shirt you're wearing at the moment, you are quite. You've got great ideas for using your work in different ways. You've got the drawn. How would you describe the graphics? Yeah,
I mean, they're just something I kind of came up with that, I wanted some merch. I wanted to, because, I've created Bonco as my artist character.
Yeah.
And Bon Cosmos is my website. And I haven't fully explored that possibility. I wanted it to be separate from Paul Nathan. And I wanted Bonco to... there's no secrets. I kind of like Bonco in a written sense. So, and to create a entity which was beyond me, was a better me, was a more open and generous me.
And you came up with that name while you were studying, didn't you?
Well, I wanted a name because I'd always loved the idea of having an artist name. And I thought, well, what better time? I mean, I'm very lucky in that I have a very clear history of painting. There's nothing kind of before.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of
slate.
It's very clean.
Yeah,
and
which is quite nice.
And I could just enter that with an artist name from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a name. I found a letter that my father had written to his parents 7 months before I was born of joke names. One of them was Bonco, which was a bathroom. Well, my father was involved in whiteware and that sort of stuff. So Bonco was a Japanese bathroom accessory manufacturer, which has a lovely kind of Duchampian ring to it.
Totally.
And I love Duchamp. And, Duchamp gave up art to become a chess player.
Really?
So, I've got chessboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And now my current work, which actually I haven't forwarded to you and no one's actually seen, is just squares. It's just like a chessboard, which, so I'm always looking for these meanings, for these interactions, for these crossovers. I'm aware of some of them, and it's always a lovely surprise, and there's still a lot more for me to discover.
I love that. I love the idea of that the fact that you found that name as one of the lists you'll find.
Yeah,
that's really
I mean,
cool
it's kind of a clownish kind of name.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of like a jokey kind of name, I guess. But I like that. And from Bonco, I thought, well, where does Bonco live? And then I created Bon Cosmos, which also I like.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so I hope to eventually write a book, make a movie, make a play, just have an entire world for Bonco and Boncosmos, a better world.
And you see it as like a brand of yourself?
Yeah. The self that I'm restricted to my upbringing, my values, myself. But I really feel like if I can contribute to the dialogue of a better being, even though no one may be interested.
I'm sure they would be.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter if they are or not.
No, it's it's your personal thing.
Yeah.
I can really see Bonco in New York.
Yeah. Well, Bonco's never lived in New York.
No.
That was Paul Nathan.
That's right. Yeah.
With all his insecurities.
It's really interesting. I love that alter ego idea.
Yeah.
And I feel like, if it was that kind of idea of a brand, there's just so much within that you could explore. So many mediums. And
yeah. It all just comes down to time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Making stuff happen, which you are very good at.
Yeah.
So should we head to our quick questions at the end?
Yeah, sure.
So can you tell us, Bonco,
yeah.
Paul, who are your favourite artists and how have they influenced you?
I guess in New Zealand, I really love Andrew McLeod. Just that dedication and that kind of ability to create a world of himself. I really admire that. I just think he's an amazing artist. Outside of New Zealand, I guess all the great geometric artists, Mondrian, I love, Kandinsky, Alfred Jensen, I really love.
Do you like Bridget Riley?
Yeah, I love Bridget Riley.
So do I.
Yeah. I guess those that, Victor Vasarely. I mean, he's been kind of made fun of, but there's something pretty special about his work. And I kind of like the nuttiness too. I just think that's really a lovely contribution to the world, a little bit of nuttiness. Yeah.
And as an artist, what do you see as your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is finding time. If only I had more time. There's so much I want to do. Yeah, it's just time. That's all.
And what would you say to your younger artistic, creative self?
My 48-year-old self, or 47-year-old self, I would say, don't worry.
And why do you think you make the kind of work you make?
For myself, and ultimately, I really do believe I'm doing good in the world. As ridiculous as that to actually verbalize.
No, it's not ridiculous at all.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I think every artist is, actually.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, well, Paul, this brings us to the end of our lovely conversation. Thank you so much. You are the last person in this season, which is supported by Creative Communities Scheme. And I've been interviewing like a mad woman over the last 3 weeks. So I'm going in for some surgery soon. And I couldn't be happier that you're the last person that I've talked to, because I have found your ideas and thinking have really kind of resonated with me and given me some sort of strange sense of peace.
Mm.
So I really appreciate that, and thank you very, very much for being on the show.
Oh, thanks so much, Mandy. And I just want to say To listen and to ask is the most generous thing in the world.